Hello and welcome to another hot takes video where I react to all of your hot takes and predictions for the upcoming chapter of Boruto TBV Vortex. I think this month's chapter is going to be pretty good. With Code invading Konoha for the second time and Amado kidnapping Koji, things might not be so straightforward as we all think. So let's see what you all think. So if you're new and don't know how this works, I drop a post on my community tab for you guys to comment under all your hot takes and predictions for the upcoming chapter, and I go in and pick the best 10 comments out the bunch to feature in the video. So that's what we're gonna do. So remember, if you didn't get picked this month, don't worry, because I do this kind of video every single month. I promise I will get to you soon enough if you stay consistent. And the comment has to be interesting too. Don't forget that. But yeah, anyway, I got my 10 chosen comments next to me right here, and I'm ready to hop into it. So without further ado, let's do it. Amado is going to pull a "Have you heard the tragedy of Shibai Otsutsuki? Drop some lore." So you're saying he would drop more Shibai lore? Because Kawaki and everyone already knows about Shibai, but the tragedy of Shibai, now that's something new. I would absolutely love to get dropped some Shibai lore. Do you actually know how much videos I could get out if he mentioned Shibai? That's something everyone is waiting on, because Shibai is most likely going to play a huge role in the story later on. It's already been foreshadowed by Amado. Him mentioning Shibai to everyone in chapter 75 was for a reason. Remember, Ikimoto does everything for a reason. Maybe it's built up to eventually introduce Shibai into the story. Or maybe it's going to be a huge plot twist and someone might have some secret connections to Shibai. It's kind of like the situation with Madara, because we know he was talked about way before he actually made an appearance. So if that happened in Boruto, I think the fans will go absolutely crazy for that. Sarada gets her dad's one eye. I don't really understand why people still think that Sarada would willingly take her father's only good eye when they're actively trying to save him. Like, why would Sarada do that? Way out of character, and unlike Sasuke, she has two eyes, so you need both eyes for it to really work. That's why that's just not a good idea. It's out of character for Sarada, and on top of that, I mean, it's just not going to give her the result she's looking for. A much more effective option is for her to take Sasuke's original eyes. Since we're set on Sarada taking her father's eyes, just let her take his OGs, the eyes he gave up for Itachi's. Not only would it work, like she would have the EMS, but Sasuke would be able to keep his last eye. So when he does come back into the story, he'll be useful in battle. Like, dang, y'all don't even want him to be able to see his daughter all grown up? Like, that's crazy. Not even his wife's face? Like, they haven't seen each other in years. Oh man, if y'all was in charge of the story, Sasuke would have been gone, Boruto would have every dojutsu in shinjutsu, and he'll marry both Sarada and Sumire. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, let that man Sasuke be. Okay, next hot take we have: Amado uploads Koji's vision to his systems. Koba wants to finish the interrogations. Code goes to Jiraiya about bringing Sarada there to lure Boruto into a trap. Boruto gets back to the hideout and Koji is missing, so he goes to Konoha to save Koji. And you know what? That's not a bad take, because even though we haven't seen it, there is a way Amado can do that. He can project Koji's thoughts onto a screen, but only because he's a cyborg. His brain is probably wired differently than a regular human's, so that might make it possible for that to happen. I see why Amado would want to do this. To see what happens in the future is very beneficial for Kawaki and Amado. They both have their reasons, in which we already know. Kawaki needs information on how he can defeat Jiraiya, or how Jiraiya gets defeated in the future, and I think Amado would just want to see if he gets to see his daughter again. So all this is just to gather information on those two key events. And the most interesting part is that it will show him multiple timelines. So there's more ways it can happen than one. Now here's a question. If there was a way to get to that future, but it was unethical or of poor morale, do you think Kawaki or Amado would do it? And would that make them the new villains of the series? If that's the case, we really gotta be made aware of these two going forward as potential threats. So next, I see you mentioned the Kobu situation. I'll just say I think it is a little bit too soon for Kobu to return. At least I don't want to see him again so soon. And with everything going on, it would be crazy bringing him back so suddenly after he literally almost died, right? I think he even said he would let Shikamaru handle the commotion in Konoha before continuing his interrogations. So maybe another 10 chapters or so, and we might see him again. But right now, it could be way too soon. The only thing that I think is the most probable to happen is Code going to Jura to conspire with him about kidnapping Sarada, and Boruto going to save Koji, or at least go investigate the situation. Maybe he doesn't even know about it until he gets back from his mission. All that has to do with the timing of Code's invasion, and I think we often forget that Boruto can perform the Shadow Clone Jutsu. So now thinking about it, would it be that hard for him to multitask? Can't he just send a clone off to investigate the situation and then go after Sarada? Let me know if you agree. So the fourth comment here says, Code won't be head-on fighting anybody in the next chapter. He's going to be insanely cautious and dip immediately after dropping Sarada off to Hidari. It looks like Code wanted to use the Shinjus to do his bidding and wreak havoc, but it's the reverse ever since Jura took Code's hand. Code is clearly using Boruto and Sarada to do his bidding by taking out the Shinju so he could get either one of their Thorn Soul bulbs, and my money is so obviously on Jura. Possible chakra fruit leading to becoming Otsutsuki. Boruto and Jura will face off next chapter and Boruto will activate Karma V2. This could happen. I won't say it can't because we have to remember that Code really wants no parts of Boruto. He knows that the Shinju have the best chance of taking him down, so if Code's role was to only lure Boruto to them, then he did his job. He quite literally does not have to stay there. But Hidari might be the wrong person for this job. Unless he can fight his instinct to devour Sarada, unless he can do that, this plan just doesn't work out exactly how it's supposed to. I mean, the plan can still work, but with no bargaining chip like Koji said was the whole purpose Code wanted to go after Sarada, it seems pretty pointless. And that's what I was a little worried about. How is Hidari going to react to seeing Sarada? Is he just going to try and attack her, like last time? Will Jura try to stop him? What's the big deal here? He also says that Code is after the Thorn Soul Bulb, but to be honest, if that was the case, then he should have just went after Mamushi's. So because he didn't, I don't think that's a direct priority of his right now. That doesn't mean he can't change his mind in the future, but as of right now, he's shown us nothing that indicates he's fascinated with the Thorn Soul, or even getting stronger for that matter anyway. So I'm gonna say I disagree on that one. But still, a very good comment, so I thank you for commenting. So where's the next hot take? Okay, here we go. Amado starts dismantling Kashin Koji in order to use the remaining Shibai cells on Kawaki. We'll probably find out Amado is hiding something more complex about his daughter. Is that how it works? Can he even do that? Can he transplant cells from one person to another? I actually never thought of that. I think there's a term for that. You know what, let me ask ChatGPT. Oh my god, yeah, Koji is cooked. Oh wow, and it seems like it's a pretty common practice too. So that changes a lot, I guess. If it's possible, Amado may be able to take prescience away from Koji and give it to himself. Maybe even Kawaki for that matter. And if that's the case, then I think that leaves Boruto with no other choice but to save him. You hear me? You see, Amado is just too condescending. We don't know what he's capable of. But I guess we're about to find out very soon, huh? We're about to find out if Amado is hiding whatever about his daughter. Even what his true goal is, very, very soon. I don't know, I just don't trust him. He's too sketchy. And now that I learned that there can potentially be a way he can transfer cells, it just adds another possibility onto the many. Plot twist. Koji has a reversal for Amado's shutdown, and it somehow alerts Boruto that something involving Koji is going down, and he FTGs straight to Koji for a big encounter. Meanwhile, Sarada gets confronted by Code and goes straight to the Shinju's hideout to have a meeting. Cut to a random character that explains how things have been since the bug attack in the village, and then we end up with Boruto, Koji, and Amado with Kawaki as a witness having a heated debate over 10 directions. Chapter ends with a big revelation or a big fight. The alert isn't going to be the reversal for Amado's shutdown or anything. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Koji's toes disappearing. That's gonna let them know that Koji is in trouble. But yeah, you see, this is what I was afraid of. Boruto getting alerted of the Koji situation and simultaneously Sarada going ahead and letting Code kidnap her. Because it does force Boruto into an impossible situation. He gotta choose, do I save Sarada or do I check in with Koji real quick? Both crucially important to the future and important people to Boruto. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting decision to see, but like I said, maybe Boruto just makes a shadow clone if worse comes to worse. Have a clone in Konoha, and he goes after Sarada as the original. So maybe if Boruto has that big conflict with Amado for doing that to Koji, it would be a clone. I doubt any major fight breaks out because of it, so a clone would be fine, right? I actually don't think it would be that bad. I think Boruto is a major focus in this upcoming arc regardless. So his clone having a conversation about 10 directions to Amado and Kawaki, and at the same time, the real Boruto fighting it out with the Shinju is pure cinema. So far I'm liking these comments, fellas. Pretty good. So the next comment says, Amado experiments on Koji and tries to extract 10 directions. Kawaki probably asks Koji some questions, maybe some related to Naruto's safety, Boruto FTG to Sarada and Code, Jura and Hidari attacking Boruto on arrival, Boruto goes full karma and Byakugan, Hidari dies and Jura goes crash out. So yeah, not to harp on anything I already talked about, but yeah, once Kawaki finds out what Koji's power is, I think he'll try to exploit it somehow to use for his benefit. There's just no way he doesn't do that, or at least considers it. And I don't think Hidari dies just yet. We gotta remember how Jura feels about Hidari. I'm guessing that's why you said he's gonna crash out. But I don't think Jura even allows them to attack Hidari. And no, it doesn't matter if he's not there. We can't forget the reason the Boruto vs Jura fight started in Tsunagakure. Jura seen Boruto through the eyes of Matsuri. He pulled up instantly after that. It's because of the Rinnegan. We know this, seen it multiple times, with Pain and the reincarnated Jinchuriki. They all have shared senses due to them being the same entity. But more importantly, because of the Rinnegan. So there might not even be a world where Hidari fights Boruto one-on-one, or Boruto and Sarada fights him two-on-one. I think the chapter's focus will be Amado capturing Koji. We will see what Amado's motives are with Koji, and eventually Boruto trying to check in realizing Koji isn't there anymore. I think he'll see the remaining scroll Amado gave Koji and realize that it was data of the Mamushi battle, pointing to Amado. However, as soon as he gets to Amado and Kawaki, Sarada throws the symbols and is captured. I think the cliffhanger will either be Boruto deciding on what to do in that moment, or what I truly believe would be him teleporting to her in the final page. Yeah, it's time for Boruto to make a choice. And for a second, let's just remove the shadow clones from the equation. How does he go about this? That's the big question. With no prescience, no Koji to guide him, can Boruto make the correct judgment to save the day and not terrorize the future? That's what I'm low-key excited to see too. It's the first time prescience isn't going to be available since the start of Tubular Vortex. So this isn't going to be easy, but that's what we want. We want to see Boruto in these situations because it will tell us if he's truly ready to carry on the torch or not. Especially if something happens to Kashin Koji in the future. We're about to see how Boruto handles situations like this. Do y'all think he's gonna fumble, or is he gonna show out? Actually leave that down below in the comment section. So next we're going to see the continuation of Shikamaru's political plot, likely with Kobu reappearing to apply pressure at a difficult time, just after Koji is captured. I foresee Amado making modifications to Koji where he can make use of 10 directions for his own needs. Maybe something like where he keeps Koji conscious but unable to move, with his brain hooked up to a screen so Amado can see the 10 directions updates. Towards the end of the chapter, I think we'll get Boruto returning to the hideout to find Koji missing and perhaps a clue on who took him. The ending panel is probably going to be Code setting up his move on Sarada. Yeah, for the most part, I think that's the whole reason Koji was kidnapped. Amado just wants to study Koji and his shinjutsu awakening. It's apparent that after he heard about prescience, he was intrigued. So now that he got his hands on Koji, he'll want to see how it works, and he'll want to see the updates firsthand and how reliable they are. So yeah, that's really all I'm gonna say on that. Just don't be surprised when Amado decides to use this power for his own greedy desires. I'm telling you, Amado is about to turn crazy once he finds out there is a way he could see his daughter again. He won't stop until that future is made real. But anyway, other than that, I didn't expect to see 2 comments about Lord Kobu today. Did you guys like the time he was on screen? Or not on screen, but you get what I'm trying to say. Did you all enjoy his time? Me personally, I didn't think too much of it, to be honest. I mean, he was a good character, but really annoying. And I felt that he really held up the action a bit. Like, for the time he was on screen, we could have been getting a little bit more action, but I'm not mad at it. I did appreciate that little side plot they had going on. I did. And I did enjoy it. But I need more time, y'all. I don't want to see him yet. But if y'all like him that much, I respect it for sure. So the 10th and final comment of the day we got... Okay, this is a long one. Chapter cover gonna be Kawaki in different colored clothes. In the chapter, I think Boruto's gonna go back to his hideout and he won't find Koji there. Then in my opinion, from last chapter, I think the kunai Boruto threw is still there. So I think Sumire is gonna pick it up, because there's nothing saying Sarada picked it up. Then after, Boruto goes to Eida to see where Koji is. Then when she spies on them, Sumire walks in. And when Eida tells Boruto what they're talking about, I think he won't mind the fact Koji got kidnapped. Maybe even from the start after he hears Kawaki is with him. And then Eida and Boruto are finally gonna have their long-awaited talk ever since chapter 8. Then the chapter ends with Koji showing up to kidnap Sarada. In the end, I have no clue what Amado and Koji are gonna talk about or do. Maybe it's some kind of lore drop. Oh, this is actually a banger of a comment, because I completely forgot about Eida. She would be the perfect person to go see where Koji is. Like, forget all that searching. You got the #1 tracker of all time right there. Boruto and Eida really haven't had an interaction for a while. Maybe since chapter 80 of part 1. And I did forget about her saying she wanted to chat with Boruto too. So that's a really good catch. I forgot because it's been forever and we just never got it, simply put. So while he's going to search for Koji, it could be a good time for them to interact. So really good comment, another possible outcome, one that I really think could happen for all we know. But unfortunately, that's all 10 of the comments today. I was having fun reading all of that. You guys had some really good comments this time around, really good. But just because I'm done reading the hot takes, that doesn't mean you can't drop more down below. Let's start a little conversation. What do you guys think is in store for Boruto, Sarada, or Kashin Koji next chapter? Leave all your thoughts down below so I can read them. And without further ado, I think that'll do it for me today. So as always, if you enjoyed the video and don't mind seeing more like this in the near future, go ahead and like the video, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications so you know whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.